5 best places to meet high quality women. Well, this is what Brian Streckler recommends. This is the man here on screen. He's a supposed Christian pseudo dating coach. He just teaches young men about Christianity. And this video was actually recommended to me by one of my friends who came across his channel and he wanted to know my thoughts. So I was going through it and I figured I would make a review. And there's some value in this specific video that I found of his that I could share with you guys so that you can pick apart this clip and take the lessons that you can apply to your dating and relationship life. So let's see what he has to say. 5 places to meet high quality Christian women. If you're a young man who's Christian, even if you're an atheist and you're just more curious of perhaps learning more about God or finding a better quality woman, this video is for you. With that said, let's break down what he has to say.
If you just clicked on this video because you're lonely and you have no idea where to meet or how to attract a high-quality Christian woman into your life, you clicked on the right video. Because today, we're going to be going over the 5 best places to meet high-quality Christian women, okay? So if you guys are really enjoying these whiteboard-style videos, make sure to drop a comment down below so I can continue to churn out more videos just like this one. But starting off, the first and one of the best places to meet high-quality Christian women is, who would have thought, at church. Whenever you think about this logically, and you tell yourself, I want a girl who's born again, who loves Jesus, who is traditional, who wants to raise a family one day, if that's what I'm looking for, where in person is the most likely place that I would find that type of woman? Obviously, it should be church. That should be the first thought that pops in your mind, but not just any church. I would suggest, especially if you're a guy similar to myself, who's in his mid to late 20s, most of you guys are probably like 18, 19, 20. You're looking for a woman who is at your age or younger than you, right? You're probably not looking for a woman who's in her 30s or 40s or way too old, right? So
Yeah, I'll just quick pause there. He's made a very good assessment. If you're a man in your early to mid 20s, you're probably looking for a woman the same age as you, maybe a couple years younger within that range. Obviously, with an age gap, that's not too large. And that's typical. And he's inferring on the point of young men because, quite frankly, that is when it is ideal to find someone. If you're watching this and you're someone in your 30s or 40s, maybe you've had a string of failed relationships, you've had your struggles, maybe you're recently divorced and you're single and you're looking to find someone new. It doesn't mean it's over for you, but the dating market, so to speak, is drastically different the older you get. There is usually less good ones. So you have to understand that people within your range are typically going to come, the older you are, with baggage. They have their own wounds. They are still worthy of love, but it takes a lot of maturity, patience, and understanding to really bond with someone, especially when you're older. Okay, just factor those things in. It's not over for you if you're older, but you can take a lesson from that too. Like if you're older, you're mixing your 30s, 40s, you can still find someone, but you still have to vet. Okay?
if you want to meet somebody who's around the same age as you, you need to go to a church with other young adults present in the church. Like even the church that I go to here in Dallas is mostly young adults, which I don't think is the best. Like it's good for meeting a girl and dating and starting a relationship. And I think in terms of growing in spiritual maturity, you need to have both. It can't just all be like young adults because we're dumb. We're young. We don't know everything, right? There's only like a certain level of wisdom that even the wisest 25-year-old has that is not even close to the wisdom of a guy who's in his 40s or his 50s or 60s or 70s. So you need to have both, but I would suggest definitely making sure that you go to a church with other young adults, other girls that are your age or younger than you, so that you have a likelihood of actually meeting somebody in person that you could date or especially get married to one day. The mistake that I see a lot of Christian guys make is they end up going to these churches with all these old people and there are no young adults, or like every girl that's there, they're just not attracted to them at all. And it's like, bro, how do you expect to meet somebody if you're not putting yourself out there and you're not putting yourself in environments where the type of women that you would actually want to be with are present?
Yeah, he's making very good points here so far. Absolutely. Like, if you're going to a church and it's just old people, or everyone's married and has a family and there's just no single people, it's not going to work. If you live in an area or you can travel around where there's different Christian churches or congregations that you can attend, try and find one where there's a balance, where there's a lot of young people your age, which increases the odds of the fact that you already have the same values that they're Christian. You still have to vet for other things, their self-esteem, do they have any other red flags? What are they like as a person, of course. But it definitely increases the odds if there's more young people. And like you said as well, a balance where there's older people who are teaching proper doctrine as well is important. But in the context of meeting a high quality Christian woman, it's not always a guarantee, but it's better than nothing. And if you are looking for that, going to a church where there's young people in your age range is typically better to find a woman, right?
It's like the mistake that I used to make is I wouldn't go to any of this stuff. I wouldn't do any of this stuff. I was on my monk mode journey and I didn't meet anybody. And I was wondering, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why am I not meeting any girls, Lord? But like, am I gay or something? But it's like, bro, you're not even putting yourself out there. There's absolutely no way that you're gonna meet a high quality woman if you're never around any women and no women ever see you. They don't even know you exist. So you can't just spend all your time isolated by yourself playing video games and jerking your wiener, or you'll always stay single and alone, which I know if you click on this video is not where you wanna be. So make sure that you go and get plugged into a good church and this will go into the second one, but whenever you are at church, put yourself out there, meet new people, introduce yourself to people. But don't be the guy who's just shy and awkward and in his own head, and the second that the service lets out, you just run home. And you're like, why am I not meeting anybody? It's like, bro, stick around, say hi to new people, ask them how long they've been going to the church for, what they thought of the sermon, just start conversations, and you'll be amazed at the type of people that you meet, the stuff you start getting invited to, and of course, your likelihood of meeting the godly woman that you want will increase exponentially. The second place that you could meet a high quality woman is going out and volunteering and serving, okay? A lot of you guys said,
Okay, so he's concluded the first one, which is church. I do agree, and for those listening, my take on it is I would agree with him. I do recommend go with his young people who have the same values as you, and it's a great place to start. But also be social, connect with other guys there. Maybe you can make a few friends, and it's like maybe the friends you make, some of them have some pretty sisters who are single, or they know of people, they know couples, and you can be referred to someone. I mean, this is how it's always been throughout history. I mean, up until recent times, online dating apps didn't exist. Social media, the internet, it was who you knew. And a lot of you guys, you want to stay locked away in your room. You're not social. You're not interacting with women. You're making excuses that you're grinding. You're at the gym. You're working. But it's like you're not even going out. And then you wonder, a woman's not going to fall from the heavens. He who finds a wife finds a good thing, as it says in Proverbs. You have to go out there and find her, guys. So church, great place to start. Let's carry on with number two.
you want a woman who is traditional, who has a servant's heart. You want a Proverbs 31 woman, right? Someone who's going out and getting all the food together and preparing, and she's an entrepreneur and all this stuff. Like you want this.
Ooh, that's just a caveat there. I'm gonna disagree with him. If you're a Christian man and you believe in traditional gender roles and you want a real feminine woman, you do not want a woman who's entrepreneurial. Yes, historically a lot of women have had to work, and yes, the economy is in a tough place nowadays. But quite frankly, as a man, there's a lot of opportunity out there for you to work, to build something for yourself. And yes, you don't want a woman who's lazy. And a lot of women, up until recent times, they would work in feminine jobs with children, as nurses, school teachers, secretaries, right? In an administrative role. They would do certain roles that would, in a way, kind of shape them and prepare and mold them to be better wives and mothers, so that when they found a man and they were able, that's the key operative word, able to live within his means, they'd marry and then take care of the kids. And as what 2 Titus says in scripture, older women are to teach younger women how to love their husbands, how to raise children, and to guide the home. That is where women are glorified, because women are the heart of the home. They are to be protected from the harshness of the world. And a feminine woman with self-esteem, especially if she's Christian, understands this. If she works because she has to, that's fine. But if you as a man are able to take care of her, she should be happy and grateful to be home. And that's done with a lot of love. But a woman who's in a boss babe mindset, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a baddie, I need to be out there grinding, you want to avoid masculine women like that, because that is something that you do not want. But let's continue.
It's like 10 out of 10 women, but you're not going out and doing the work and volunteering and serving yourself. Right? Same exact thing of what I'm saying from the first point. If you want to meet a woman who volunteers and serves, then you should be the one going out and volunteering and serving in a homeless shelter or at some event at your church, whether that's fundraising or just being there for the people in your community, going out and giving up your time and your energy, sacrificing. If you want that type of woman, you need to be doing that yourself. And so first you get plugged into a church, and there's probably going to be a lot of volunteering and serving opportunities just within your church. You just got to ask the right questions and show up and be consistent. Or you can just go online. Like I know there's a lot of opportunities, especially if you live in a bigger city, for you to serve the homeless community, because there's a lot of homeless people in bigger cities. But there's homeless shelters. You can go and volunteer to build houses. And when storms come or stuff gets broken, you can volunteer your time to go and help people. There's so many different opportunities. You just got to search them up. Just go on Google, type in searching opportunities or ChatGPT. Say, I want to start serving in my community. What are some good options? I live here, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. And once you know exactly what you should be doing, the next step is to take action on it. Don't just think about it and procrastinate about it and hope and pray that one day God's going to send a woman straight to your basement. It's not going to happen, bro. You're going to be alone forever if you don't make any changes. So make at least the first 2 changes on this list, and it will drastically improve your likelihood of meeting a woman. Now, if you're enjoying this video,
Okay, so number 2, volunteering and serving. I think this is a fantastic way. In essence, community service, being involved in your community, your town. I think this is a fantastic, and you really get to see, ultimately, as Christ says, well, what Paul teaches in scripture as well, like you shall know them by their fruits. And if you look at Galatians, love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faith, humility, and self-control. against these there is no laws. Like, that is how you can really judge and gauge someone righteously, man or woman. So a woman who spends her free time on the weekends cooking, baking for the local church, volunteering, doing something feminine, and that's key. Because if you're going to a volunteering area and the woman is doing some masculine ass thing like a guy, that would be a red flag. But if a woman is going and she's actually invested and she's doing things that are soft and feminine, she's not in some leadership boss babe role. Because a lot of these modern Christian communities, the women are masculine and the men are effeminate. So that's key as well. Looking at what is she actually doing in the volunteering. Is she cooking? Is she baking? Is she in a more passive role? That's more serving and nurturing. Whoa, you really get to see that. Is she more attentive to the children? Or is she like, I want to be on stage, which again, biblically speaking, shouldn't be happening. Like, pay attention to those things. But nonetheless, it's a great place if you know how to do it right. And as a man, you should be going there and volunteer because you want to. And as a side effect, you might meet some women, you might meet some great friends. It's good for your social life. It's good for your spiritual walk as well, being around other good quality Christians, if there are. And do something masculine there. You know, step into a leadership role, like sharpen those skills. And remember, feminine women are attracted to men who are confident, men who are masculine, men who are assertive. And if you go there and she sees, wow, this guy's actually doing something masculine, and she's physically attracted to you or her type, she desires you, then there's a chance. So I would vet for that if you're going to volunteer and serve, okay? But definitely a great way to meet a high quality Christian woman, but you still have to vet. Let's continue on.
So far, and you want to see even more based masculine content on social media to inspire you and help you in your walk with Christ.
Okay.
You guys as much practical and actionable advice. The third and one of my favorite places to meet a high quality Christian girl is through a trusted friend, right? The reason for this is because whenever you have trusted friends in your life, especially like older men, older, wiser, biblically sound, masculine, godly men, and you spend a lot of time with them, they're going to know a lot about you and what you're looking for, and they're going to be able to do a lot of the vetting for you already, right? If they look at you and they say, hey bro, or hey son, I know a lot about you, and I know that you're single right now, and I know that you've been looking for this exact type of woman. Guess what? I actually met a girl just like that at our Bible study or at church, and I think that you guys would be a good fit. And then they'll literally do all the heavy lifting and set you up for the date. It's so easy, it's so smooth, and you can trust that the person who's setting you up on the date actually has your best intentions in mind. Best intentions in mind, screwing up my words. And most of the time, like a lot of the people that I've met who have gotten married and like Christian and have good family and they're just good people, most of them met through mutual friends. Like most of them met because they had a friend who introduced them to their partner and then everything worked out perfectly. I would just be honest with the people that you care about the most in your life, especially your mentors or older men that you're in a Bible study with. Maybe it may be older women as well, but the people that you care about the most, be vulnerable, be open with them. Tell them about what you're going through, what you're struggling with, your walk with God, what you're developing yourself in, and then also like what you want in a future woman, what you want for your future in general, whether that's work or what you want your family to look like or who you want to get married to. Just share that stuff with those people and ask them questions, because odds are they already did the work themselves to get married and have the family and have everything that you want. Why would you not ask them questions to gain wisdom and learn from the mistakes that they made so you don't have to make them yourself? One of my favorite quotes is, a wise man learns from his mistakes, but a wiser man learns from the mistakes of other people. And trust in the Lord, right? I'm saying trusted friends, but at the end of the day, all this stuff doesn't matter if you don't have trust in God for your plan. One of my favorite verses is Matthew 6:33. It tells us to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Meaning all the things that God knows that you need in your life that are in alignment with his will be added unto you whenever you put him first and you seek him first. So at the end of the day, if you're not seeking God number one in your life already and developing yourself as a man already and breaking free from lust and working out and building up your finances and becoming more confident, it doesn't matter where you go and what you do to try and meet the girl. None of this stuff is going to work. If you want this to work, you already have to be doing the work on yourself and in your relationship with God to develop yourself so you can actually become ready to be attractive to women whenever you put yourself out there in these different scenarios. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want to join our brotherhood of men,
Okay, I'm liking his passion. Guy's quite interesting. He's making some good points here so far that I agree with. So number 3, trusted friends. And this goes back to common sense. I mean, up until recent history, we've only had like social media, the internet, and dating apps and such in the last 20, 25 to maybe 30 years, you could even argue. So beyond that, since the inception of time, men and women have bonded, married, reproduced, formed families, formed nations, formed communities through real life connections. And what I always teach guys is there are only 2 ways you're ever going to meet a woman: in real life or online, which we'll get to the dating apps number 4. But number 3 is in real life, and it's through who you know. I mean, back in the day, if you were in a small village or town 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, there was always a small selection of who you could date, and it was typically families that would oversee and overlook marriages and unions. Okay, your son and my daughter like each other, and they'd typically be arranged. Now, I am against arranged marriages. I think it's not optimal, and I think a lot of people back in the day didn't have that freedom of choice, and they would typically often settle. You'd have to marry this person to keep the kingdom together, or unite 2 households to end a feud, or pay off a family debt to some high lord or something, right? Or to make a peace treaty or to stop a war from happening. And oftentimes men and women were forced to marry someone they didn't want. So very seldom have men and women, unfortunately, been able to marry as God has intended. There was no true raw desire, true love they had. And I think a big problem that I see with a lot of Christians now is they focus so much on the compatibility. You're Christian, you believe in marriage and children, you share the same faith, but a lot of Christians have learned to see sex as something dirty. That sex is bad. And it's like, no, sex is good. God made sex. It's supposed to feel good. You're supposed to have true physical sexual desire. I mean, you think God is going to bring a man and a woman together so you don't even like each other? You should want to rip each other's damn clothes off. You should absolutely have passion for each other. So, aside from compatibility, I would look at chemistry. Do you actually desire each other? And a lot of Christians tend to focus on, well, especially with the women. Oh, we share the same values, but I'm not that attracted to him. A lot of women in Christian communities are shamed to go for a man they desire. Oh, you need to go for him. He has a good job, or he's a great guy, but she's not attracted to him. Oh, he's a good Christian guy in the church, but she doesn't want him. And a lot of Christian men are always, again, as most guys, looks matter. Yeah, it does. And they go after women they find beautiful who are Christian, but then she's not attracted to him, and he thinks it doesn't matter. It should be mutual. So even when looking at a trusted friend, I don't think it's good enough just to listen to a mentor or a coach. I would more so look at, do they have the exact type of relationship that I want? Because even amongst Christians, there's a lot of men who cheat on their wives, or watch porn, or they settle, or vice versa. They have a very high infidelity rate as well. I mean, look at the divorce rate in the West, which is, you could say, culturally Christian. It's getting pretty high out there. I mean, statistically, if the divorce rate's above 50 to 70% in most Western countries, and this is where people, even with their best thinking, they're getting into a marriage thinking, I know this person, I vetted them well, it's still going to end in a divorce, which tells me most people do not have a vetting process. They really actually don't even know what they're doing, even though they claim to, or else the divorce rate wouldn't be that high. Okay, so this tells me there's a huge generational knowledge gap, and there's a lot of men and women that really have no clue. They might have some idea. I've personally dedicated myself a long time to figure this stuff out, which is why I have a great woman in my life, and I teach other guys to do the same. And my vetting process is way stricter than all of this. And I'm only telling you this to protect your heart. So yes, listen to a trusted friend who has good advice, but more importantly, look at, does he have the type of woman that I want? Are they happy? Are they passionately in love? Do they love each other? Do they respect each other? Is there true desire? Do they actually have the same values? Do they have minimal problems? Do you look at their marriage or their relationship and go, whoa, that's what I want? Would you take finance advice from a guy who's broke? No. Would you take health advice from the guy who's obese? No. So just because someone is an elder or you like them, that's great, but really get good at looking and observing the quality of relationships of the people that are close to you. A lot of men listen to relationship advice from their single friends, or from guys who are jaded or red-pilled or bitter. Even a lot of Christian men who are good-intentioned, but they have knowledge gaps. Be very careful who you take advice from. Trust but verify, and vet to be sure. So sure, if your trusted friends know you and they present to you a woman, is she your type? Do you truly desire her? Just because they've kind of pre-qualified her, you still have to vet yourself. Does she actually desire you or not? It's a great. You can meet people through mutuals. Maybe they have a beautiful sister, or they know a couple who knows someone. That's fantastic. But again, just remember, most people end up in divorce or they settle. And there's guys out there and women out there who are intelligent. They're successful, they're making good money, they're at peace financially, everything's good in their life. And with their best thinking, they still end up divorced or they settle. So I'd still be very strict with your vetting. And just because a friend of yours presents you a sweet Christian girl, you still have to do the vetting yourself. Okay? Great. I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I'm just educating you on this. You have to know what you're doing. Vetting everything: sexual past, values, heritage, culture, faith, political views, views on other topics I can't say or I'm going to be blocked on YouTube, but you get the gist. And if you want to learn more about that, you can head over to my school community where I actually teach men more in depth of how to actually vet and learn more. I have different courses. You can get my audiobook on this. or you can head over to my website and pick up my audiobook for free, my ebook for free, and download it and start learning about how to actually vet and weed out the wrong women and find the right one.
And they're
Because
focused on
just because someone presents to you, this is a sweet girl, and you find her attractive, I would still vet. And if you're uncertain, vet even more. Okay? But I do agree with him, through trusted friends, it can be a great way to meet a high quality Christian woman. But don't let your guard down. Because just because she's a Christian, it doesn't mean she doesn't have low self-esteem. She could be a Christian and still struggle deeply with certain sin or have certain problems that make her a danger to even commit to you because she has emotional problems or health problems. And a lot of Christian men fall into oh, she said she's a Christian, and then they fucking, excuse my French, they just completely drop their guard and everything's good and solid. That's not a guarantee. It's great, but she can be a Christian and have borderline personality disorder. How's that going to work out for you? Trust but verify. Let's continue on
becoming masculine and godly again and reaching their highest potential in Christ, make sure to scroll down, click on the subscribe button right now, and that way you can see even more videos on your homepage that are just like this one. Now, the fourth place that could work for you to meet a high-quality Christian woman is on a dating app. The reason why I say could work is because I know a lot of you have probably already tried dating apps before, and it's been a very miserable experience for you. But if I'm being 100% honest, it has to be in alignment with God's plan for you to meet somebody on a dating app and it actually work out. There's a lot of different factors at play, but also I think a lot of guys, the reason why they struggle with dating apps is because they're just not attractive in general. They don't know how to take higher quality pictures. They don't care about themselves physically. They play video games all the time. They don't have good hygiene. They're just not attractive. And the reason why you struggle on a dating app to get matches and meet women is because they're just not attracted to you, bro. The main thing that they're looking at whenever they're swiping is, am I attracted to this person or not? And most guys just don't care. They genuinely don't care about how they put themselves out there, how they show up. They just aren't ambitious. They don't have goals. They're not masculine. And so women are not attracted to them and they're like, dating apps suck. There's a lot of guys where I can tell you for a 100% fact, there are a lot of men out there that use dating apps and it's super easy and they meet a lot of women, they go on a lot of dates and they end up finding their wife through a dating app. So it does work.
Yeah, the dating apps personally worked for me, and it's something I do teach to my clients, aside from meeting women in real life. I'll get to that in a moment. Let's continue.
Sometimes you just got to do even more work on yourself to become more attractive so that women actually swipe right on you and give you an opportunity. That's just the facts. Another thing to keep in mind with the dating apps is your discernment has to be 10 out of 10 because a lot of people, even if I threw social media on here, it'd be the exact same thing. A lot of people put this facade up that they want you to view them a certain way. I love Jesus and I got in my bio, I got the Bible verse here. I love going to church. It's my favorite thing to do on a Sunday. They have all these prompts and stuff, which is great. That's a good sign. But the key is not to take all that stuff at face value, right? Take it with a grain of salt. The only way to actually know if she's born again and if she's a higher quality Christian woman is by getting her on a phone call or getting her on a date and asking her intentional questions on the date and pursuing her and getting a better understanding of how does she spend her time behind closed doors? Is she genuinely born again? Does she genuinely love Jesus? When I ask her questions about Christ, does her eyes light up? Can I tell that she genuinely wants to talk about Jesus and wants to grow in her faith? Or does she kind of shut down? Does she light up more whenever you're talking about shopping or her job or what she likes to do on the weekends than whenever she's talking about Christ? That's a red flag. But you guys have to become spiritually discerned, especially in the dating world, to know if this girl is sent by God or not. And the best way to know is if her character and who she is and what she wants align with the Bible. If it doesn't align with the Bible and she's saying one thing and then going and doing something completely different, she's posting her butt all over social media, she's got a lot of lustful videos or content on even her dating profile, or whenever you ask her what she likes to do on the weekend, she's going out and getting drunk and living in willful disobedience to God's word, that's a red flag. But you got to be able to discern that yourself. So be just extra cautious with dating apps. You can meet very, very, very high quality girls on dating apps. 100%. They're out there. There are girls who love Jesus and are born again and are very sweet and very feminine and awesome on dating apps. You just got to be able to do the work to find them. And you got to use discernment and just be extra cautious. Because it's very different than whenever you meet somebody in person and you're living life with them at church and you're seeing them all the time and you're seeing how they interact with people and the fruits of the Spirit in their life in person. You get to observe them from afar before asking them out on a date. You've already collected a lot of data. You can already tell that she is what you're looking for without even taking her out. Dating apps is very different. You don't know anything about them. So you just got to be able to ask the right questions and really look at her actions, not just what she says, and use discernment. Now, the fifth and final place for you to meet.
I'll make a pause there before we get to number 5. So dating apps. Number 4, I agree with him completely. It can be a fantastic way to meet a woman, especially if done righteously. As mentioned before, it's how I met my woman. I actually have a YouTube video on my channel, which I'll leave at the end, how to find a wife with online dating. I go through the exact blueprint I used. If you want to learn more about that as well, in my school community, I have a specific course with different videos and documents teaching guys how to use online dating properly, your profile, blueprint, everything that I teach, even deeper than this video. And the reason why I recommend this is simple. Everyone's on the internet now, and not every girl is going out to try and meet a guy. The highest quality women are homebodies. They're home. They're keeping themselves safe from immoral environments. And the safest thing for a feminine woman to do, within reason, is make a cute profile and try and match with a guy from the safety of her home. If you asked our ancestors of 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, hey, check out these dating apps that we've created, they would hop on that because it would have been a fantastic way to connect men and women, and with the values back then, really bring better people together. So Nowadays, we don't have the older generation isn't really teaching the younger generation, so you have to kind of do the discerning and vetting yourself, as he mentioned. I met my girl there. I set up my profile, 3 pictures of me and my dog. Christian traditional, I'm dating to marry. If these are your values, swipe on me, whatever. And I matched with my girl. The rest is history. Yeah, I date to marry too. Hey, she asked me, hey, what's your number? Well, let's chat on WhatsApp. I got her on a call straight away. Now, I would recommend before you even set up a first date, you video call so you're not getting catfished. You voice call as well a few times, and on those calls you ask intentional questions. And I have a vetting process that I teach my community. In other videos I mention it as well. You want to ask her all the important stuff about her past, what she's looking for, go deep into her values. And once you get those out the way, then you have an assurance that I'll take her on a date. So it's using dating apps intentionally. And yes, recent studies show what women value 7 to 20% more than anything on dating apps in the first 3 seconds is your looks. If she finds you attractive, that's the first thing she's going to look at. Then she'll look at your bio. So even one of my clients, I remember I'll show you who the guy is. This guy, Ludwig, Swedish guy, he's actually married now. He's got a kid on the way, I believe. The kid's just been born. He met his girl on dating apps, and they were both Christian couple. And with him, I remember as I was coaching him, he was like, look, man, I'm not getting any matches. I took a look at his profile. Very ugly pictures. He changed it all up. Within a few weeks later, he met her. He met his Martha, and they're happy together. And he followed the blueprint that I teach. So yes, Christian couples, it works. I mean, it's like I met my girl on the dating apps. It works if you know what you're doing. And it's like this recent studies show now, I know in the US, I'm not American, but I know some of the studies, like 56% of couples aged 18 to 36 are matching on social media, on dating apps. They're meeting. So, and there's only going to be an ever increasing number of people meeting online the more digital society becomes. So it's only natural that you guys are missing a lot of swings if you're not using dating apps. And I'm not saying you don't go to a church, you don't go to volunteering, you don't bond with other people and try and meet people in real life. You should. But dating apps is one that you should be doing. You should be doing both, meeting women in real life and trying to meet women on the dating apps. But if you tailor your profile well enough and you look as attractive as you can be naturally, you increase the odds. It worked for me. Highly recommend it. Give it a shot. And let's continue with number 5.
The God, the woman of your dreams is outside. A lot of you guys aren't going to want to hear that one, but like I was saying whenever I was talking about point number 1, one of the main reasons why guys stay single and isolated for so long, like I don't buy into the male loneliness epidemic and all that BS. The main reason why you're alone and you're not going on dates and you're not meeting women is because you spend most of your time behind a screen inside. You do not go outside. You do.
Pause. I must say I agree with him there 100%. A lot of guys have this doomer mindset that all women are bad, women this, women that, but you get what you focus on. I teach you guys to understand that there is a lot of bad women, yes, but there's also plenty of good women. And I think there's never actually been an easier or a better time to be a man and stand out, because most men lack standards and good women are craving a good man. And it's like when you look at the dating pool for young men, it's not just bad women, it's good, young, beautiful, godly, feminine women who believe in marriage and are loyal. And there's a lot of, I deal with a lot of young guys as well who they're stuck in that boat. They're trying to look for a good woman, and good women have these struggles too, guys. But it's like you do get what you focus on. And it tells me a lot about a guy when he's whining and complaining about women this, women that. No one's telling you to focus or date women who are incompatible, who don't desire you, who are a problem. So stop whining and whinging about the tiny percentage of women on OnlyFans or the tiny percentage of women on these dumbass red pill podcasts who have a 50 IQ. Stop obsessing over that. Yes, there's a lot of women that are not right for you that you have to disqualify. There's a lot of no's that you have to go through, but the yes will be worth it. And quite frankly, aged 18 to 25 is your youthful prime as a man, just as it is for a woman. Dating exponentially gets harder after your mid to late 20s. It just does, because most of the good women are snatched up young. So there's a reason why a lot of guys like, haha, look at these women in their 30s or 40s, they're single. Guys, it's not always because they're a red flag. Maybe they were in a long-term relationship and it didn't work out. The same thing could be said about men who are single in their 30s. Are they all walking, talking red flags? No. Maybe they had esteem issues. Maybe they had health problems. Reasons why they're single. but it doesn't change the fact that the older you are, the harder it gets. And if you're in your 20s, this is the prime time for you to be locking down a good woman so you can grow together throughout life, not when you're older. And if you are older, double down even harder on your time to search for a woman. And going outside and actually living a life, putting yourself out there, works. Let's continue.
Do not put yourself out there. You're not sharpening your social skills. You're not going and doing some cool hobby. You're playing pickleball or going to the gym consistently. Like, you just kind of lay around and you're just lazy. Or maybe you do some of those things, but the second that you're done, you just leave and you go home and you hibernate, right? You're by yourself. You're not out there. You're not putting yourself out there. Women don't even know you exist, bro. So you're wondering, like, why have I not gone on a date in years? It's like, dude.
Creators, take these 3 apps I built.
Just another ad. Let's get past it.
Nobody knows about you. And that's not a dig at you, that's just the facts. I'm saying that to the last or the past version of myself who spent almost 3 years in Austin. I would go to stuff, but most of the time when people would invite me to go and do new things, I would say no. And I would cope and I'd be like, oh, dude, I gotta work on my business, or I gotta work on this, or I gotta watch some college football. I'd just make up a bunch of excuses. I gotta read the Bible, guys. And it was just, I didn't want to get uncomfortable. I didn't want to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I wanted to stay comfortable. And so I didn't meet anybody. And I didn't go on any dates for over 2.5 years while I was in Austin. Absolutely 0 dates. I would meet girls, like at Bible study or at church. I wasn't the most attracted to most of the girls that I met. But at the same time, if I would have been putting myself out there more and going to more social events and really getting uncomfortable more consistently, I guarantee you I would have met more people. Anytime you're in a position where you're coping and rationalizing and saying, you know, oh, dude, like I just live in this city, or I'm under this circumstance and that's why I'm single, and you externalize responsibility on the outside factors, you stay in a place of mediocrity. And you never get the results that you want in your life. You always, as a man, must take responsibility and focus on what you can control. What are you doing wrong? Right? What could you be doing more of or better to improve the results that you're getting in your life? That is the mentality you must have. Do not play the blame game of the victim. That is what loser, effeminate, emasculated men do. Step up, take responsibility. And of course, seek God, number one, and I promise you, all this stuff is gonna take care of itself. Bro, I hope that this video helps you. Genuinely, I was not doing a lot of these things whenever I was single, and was kind of just hoping and praying that God would bring me my beautiful, feminine, godly wife. But it's very hard for that to happen whenever you're isolated. I'm not saying it's 100% impossible. I've heard stories where God brought some dude's wife straight to his front door, but that is a very rare and unlikely scenario. So do the work on yourself.
Okay, so that's his video, and yeah, going outside, like actually approaching women that you find attractive, women that are your type. Because it's like there's a pendulum here. There's only 2 ways nowadays you're ever going to meet a woman, in real life or on dating apps. I would do both. If you're single, you have absolutely nothing to lose. Maybe you're 10 swipes away from meeting your future wife, or maybe you're 20 approaches away from meeting your future wife. If you knew that was true, wouldn't you get to it? Of course. Because I see a lot of guys, they focus on one or the other. They'll just approach, but they're missing the fact that the girl they're looking for, the truly feminine, sweet girl, once she comes home from her little job or whatever, she's home all the time. He's not going to catch her out. She's on a dating app because it's safe for her. On the flip side, the guys that are just using dating apps and they're not seeing results, maybe it's not optimized or whatnot, they haven't approached a single woman in person in the last year. And I promise you, if you're doing both, if you're optimizing, you're on all the dating apps you can, and you're optimized and you're taking action on it, and you're living a social life, you're going out at least once on the weekend. I'm not saying to some degenerate venue, but you're going to churches, you're finding something to volunteer, you're hanging around social circles around people that have the same values as you, you're invited to get-togethers or meetups, you'll know people, or you're just going out, you're trying your best to go out and approach women. By doing both, you increase the odds. Our ancestors, as I mentioned earlier, 100 years ago, you could only either approach or it was who you knew. And they all seem to have success at that. If you're not succeeding now, you're coping. If you're just doing dating apps, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Are you neglecting approaches? Are you not going to venues that are more traditional? Are you only going to these venues but I'm not doing the dating apps? I would do both and take so much action, eventually you'll get there. But all in all, I think it was a very good video. I do agree with the places that he mentioned, but I would still apply my strict caveat of you still got to vet. Even if she tells you she's a Christian and she's going to church or she's volunteering, or a friend recommends you a sweet girl, or you match with her on a dating app, or you approach her and get her number, you still have to do the vetting yourself. And if that's something you have a knowledge gap in, I recommend you pick up my book. Ebook is free, or you can go to Amazon, get the paperback or hardcover, just type in Relearning Relationships, that one is paid. If you want more help, you can go to my website at relearningrelationships.com, and if you want, book a free one-on-one coaching call with me, or join my community. As mentioned earlier, take a part in my community. We have group calls every 3 weeks, different courses that I've written out. You've got the audiobook version of my book, and there's a lot of stuff that I give out here that can really help you get very niche specific and really master the fundamentals so that you can find and keep a great woman in your life. So that's been the video. I think Braden had some good advice. Again, I would be stricter on some of the things, but nonetheless, I think it was pretty good. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you're new to the channel, like, share with someone you know, and I'll see you all in the next one.